All right, so continuing with chapter 2 only, coming towards averaging data, there are different measures of average. There's mean, there's median, there's mode. So arithmetic mean is basically the actual average, and that is computed by adding the values of each and every number or whatever is given to you and divide by the number of values that are available to you. Okay. So over here, they have given you an example that 12, 14, 17, 19, and 15 is given. Add the values of them and divide it by the number of values. So there are five numbers given to you. So divide it by that and you get your simple average. Now coming towards the illustration, when you see it says a shopkeeper is about to put his shop up for sale. As part of the details of the business, he wishes to quote the average weekly takings and the takings in each of the last 6 weeks are given. You need to compute the mean. So what you're going to do is 1120 plus 990 plus 1040 plus 1030 plus 1105 plus 1015 divided by how many numbers are there? There are six numbers. So divide by six and you're going to get your mean, that is $1050. Now the formula is given as X bar. X bar is basically representing the mean is equal to sum of the values of X over sum of the values of, sorry, over the number of values of X. So even the sum is denoted by sigma. If you look over here, we have the sigma given to us. This is called the Greek E as well. Okay. So this represents summing up. Now it says that what if frequency distribution is given, and then how will you compute the mean? So it says that a company is implementing an efficiency drive, and as part of a leaflet, it is to distribute to its employees. It wishes to point out the average daily absenteeism rate, and the following data is collated from the records of a sample of 200 working days. So compute the sample mean number of absentees per day. How are you going to do that? Number of absentees per day are given in the form of X, number of days are given in the form of F. Okay, so you are first going to multiply F with X. You're going to add the values of it divided by number of F that is given to you, and you will compute your mean. So it is going to be 0 into 9, 0, 1 into 28, 28, 2 into 51, 102, and so on and so forth. This way you compute fx. Once you've computed that, add all of the fx numbers and you'll get sum of fx divided by the number of f that are given to you. Those are in total, the value is going to be 20. 9 plus 28 plus 50, sorry, there's going to be 200. 9 plus 28 plus 51 plus 43 plus 29 plus 18 plus 10 plus 7 plus 5. Okay. So you are going to get your mean number of absentees. Now it is getting a bit more complex. It is giving you a group data. So how are you going to go about it? If you see there's a range given to you and number of employees are given as F according to the range. Okay. So 180 to 185, 185 to 190, and so on and so forth. That is given to you. Now the solution is that you are going to first compute um, a midpoint of the range. And how are you going to do that? You have this as the bottom number or the bottom number of the range, and this is the highest number of the range. So 180 plus 185 divided by 2 will give you the midpoint. Similarly, 185 plus 190 divided by 2, 190 plus 195 divided by 2, so on and so forth will give you the midpoints. Now, once the midpoints has occurred as x, you're going to multiply that by f, and you will get fx. When you multiply that by fx, sorry, when you get the fx, you're going to add all the amounts of fx to get sum of fx or sigma fx divided by sigma f, and you'll get your 190.59 as your mean. Now coming towards median. What is the median? Median is the middle value of the given set of values. So for that, you either have to arrange it in ascending or descending order in order to get the correct median. So in this illustration, it says that according to illustration 4, we had this data that was available 1120990 and all of that. Now you need to calculate the median for this. Previously we calculated the mean for it. Now we have to calculate the median for it. So you'll first arrange it in the ascending order, and then you're going to take the mid values. So since the number is given in even, like the values are in even numbers, so there is no midpoint. There are two numbers that are coming in the middle, 1030 and 1040. So you add them together, divided by 2, and you get your median. Okay, if the odd numbers were given, then it would have been easier to determine that whatever the mid value would have been, let's say something comes in between, let's say 1030 and 1040. Let's say if I write 1050 in middle of this. So now these are seven numbers. So it's an odd number, right? Now you can simply pick up that okay, 1050 is a mid value now over here. So that becomes the median. Now the mode. The mode or the modal value is going to be the number that most often occurs. So illustration 8 mentions that there are complaints per week 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and number of weeks are 15, 12, 7, 2, 1. So the mode is going to be the value with the highest frequency. Highest frequency means highest number of weeks. So 0 is getting 5, that is not the highest. 1 is getting 12, that is the highest. 2 is getting 7, and 3 and 4 are getting a very minimal value. So the highest number is going to be one complaint per week for 12 number of weeks. So the mode is going to be one complaint per week. Now we are coming towards measures of spread. Now, when you talk about measures of spread, so you need to take into account the standard deviation, the coefficient of variation, and all of that, even variances. Now, the question is that what is standard deviation and what are variances and all? Okay, so first of all, standard deviation helps you measure how your data is spread away from the mean. Okay, this might not be easily understood when told in the form of theory, but I am going to explain it to you with some examples in a bit. Now, here's an example. It says, suppose the data set has two observations, 10 and 30. For mean here is, sorry, the mean here is 20 and the standard deviation will be 10, as both observations are 10 units away from the mean. So anything that is away from the mean and to how much extent is it away is going to be represented by the standard deviation. Okay, so it says for more complex examples, calculating the standard deviation involves the following steps. You need to put in each and every value into the formula. The basic formula is standard deviation is equals to under root sigma x minus mean square to over n. Now, this x is basically your variable, and n is relating to the number of periods or something. Okay, that depends on the question what is given to us. So, coming towards um, the frequency and all, if according to the frequency you want to calculate the standard deviation, then we have this formula for that. So, illustration 9 says that the standard deviation is given to you, like the data for standard deviation calculation is given to you. It has mentioned that number of category A1 companies, the number of category A2 companies are given, a range of price to earnings ratios is given, and you need to compute the standard deviations of these two distributions and comment. They are also saying that you're given the means of the two distributions as 15.59 and 15.62 respectively. Now coming towards the computation, you are first going to compute the midpoint of the ranges. After that, you are going to square that midpoint to compute x squared. For f, you are going to just line it up, multiply that by x to get fx, add the sum of the total fx, multiply your f with the x square to get fx square, and then add the total of it, and then all you need to do is put it in the formula and compute your standard deviation. So the standard deviation of price to earnings ratio for category A1 is given as 5.27. Same would be the case for A2. There's no difference in it. Now coming towards the coefficient of variation. The coefficient of variation tells you how the data in points has been dispersed around the mean. Okay, so standard deviation told you how far away did the data go from the mean, and coefficient of variation tells you how the data actually has been dispersed. So it is easier than standard deviation. Standard deviation divided by mean is the formula for it. Here's a illustration. Government statistics are given. Mean for each of the country is given. Standard deviation for each of them is given. What you need to do is simply divide standard deviation by the mean and compute the coefficient of variation either in decimals or in percentages. That is all. Now coming towards expected values. In probabilities, what you need to do is, or what probabilities are, let me explain that to you first. So some situations we do not know some events when they are going to occur and how much is the possibility of them occurring. So what happens is that you multiply them by the probability to understand what is their chances of them occurring. Okay, so the basic idea is that if an event is certain to occur, then it has a probability of 1, because it is, you're saying that it is certain, right, that it would occur, which means that 100% it is going to occur. So the probability is going to be 1. But if an event is impossible to occur, then it has a probability of 0, because it can't occur. But if any event has a chance of occurring, then according to the chances, the probability is given, and you're going to use that to compute the certainty. So over here it says that an ordinary six-sided die is rolled. You know that a six-sided die has six numbers on it. It says what is the probability that it will show a number less than 3. So number less than 3, there's only two chances, right? Because in on a die there are six numbers, and every number is written once only. So anything less than 3, there's only going to be two chances, that is number 1 could occur or number 2 could occur. Okay, so the probability is going to be 2 over 6, which you further simplify and it becomes 1 over 3. Why 2 over 6? Because you yourself said that there are only two chances that any number less than 3 could occur. So out of the six chances, there are only two chances, right? When you further simplify it, 2 divided by 6, it becomes 1 divided by 3. So the probability is 1 over 3. Now coming towards expected values, in case of expected value, all you need to do is you need to multiply the outcome that has a chance of occurring by the probability, and then you'll get the expected value. This technique basically tells you what are the chances in the long run of an outcome to occur. Okay, so it says that a company has recorded the following daily sales over the last 200 days. Daily sales are 100, 200, 300, 400. Number of days are given. What will be the expected sales value in the future? So, what you need to do is, first of all, compute the probability of them occurring. So, out of um, the last 200 days, there were 40 days in which the daily sales unit were 100, and there were 60 days where the daily sales units were 200, and then there were 80 days where it was 300 and 20 days where it was 400. So 100 into 40 over 200, 200 into 60 over 200, and so on and so forth will give you the probability that this much time 100 units could occur, this much time 200 units could occur, and so on. Okay, when you add together, it is going to give you 100% or one probability. Okay. Now, when you need to compute the expected value, what you are going to do is multiply 0.2 into the outcome occurring. So, what was the outcome occurring? 100 units. So, 0.2 into 100 plus 0.3 into 200 plus 0.4 into 300 plus 0.1 into 400. That would give you 240 units. So, this means that on average, 240 units a day will be sold. Okay. Now, the limitations of expected value is that it is merely just an assumption. Maybe some one-off events could occur and the scenario completely changes, or there is a chance that the assumptions on which, like on the probabilities themselves, are basically computed on assumptions, right? So the assumptions might go wrong, or the probability might go wrong, because you can't 100% be sure about a scenario occurring, right? Now coming towards normal distribution, which will be recorded in part 3 of this video.